All right, I am Mrs. Nina Jackson Mitchell. I'm your one-star platinum consultant, and today we are wrapping up our three-part series. And today we're going over protecting your work and closing more deals. This is something that so many agents have struggled with, to include myself, over the years, and we have figured out what to do so that you don't have to, right? We don't want you guys to have to hit your head on the wall and try to figure things out to see what you're doing wrong. We're going to give you the cheat codes, okay? So we're going to go over overcoming objections, handling the ghost. How many of you guys have worked on quotes only to be ghosted? How many of you guys have had to deal with that? I know I have. Retainers, we're going to talk about retainers, aka booking fees. We're going to talk about personalized proposals, quotes, and how to earn what you're worth so that you can stop giving away your talents for free. All right, welcome back. So if you are here, you have probably completed parts 1 and 2. If not, you will be able to find them on our team YouTube channel. Make sure that you go over them if you have not so far. That means that you have your system set up already. You understand how to qualify a client, and you know how to walk a booking from the initial inquiry to confirmation. But part 3 is going to be a little different. This training is not about logistics. It's about protecting the business that you're building. Here's what we're going to address today, and I want you guys to hear me on this because this is the conversation that most training programs skip entirely. You do the work of qualifying a client, researching the options, building out a quote, and some of those clients will take that quote, walk straight on over to Google, and book the trip themselves. I'm sure everybody on the line has experienced that at least once. Or they'll just never respond to you again, ghosting you. You'll wonder, what the heck did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't have the tools yet to protect yourself. And we're going to fix that today. Today, that changes. We're going to walk you into how to handle objections, how to talk your way out of them with confidence so that no, or let me think about it, does not mean that the conversation is over. We're going to talk about the ghosting problem, why it happens, what drives it, what you can do before the quote goes out to reduce the chance of being left on red. We're going to talk about a non-refundable consultation retainer, how to implement it in a way that filters serious clients from the tire kickers. And we're going to talk about personalized proposals, how to transform a raw vendor quote into a professional document that represents your brand and makes it harder for someone to replicate your own work as if it was their own. This is the training that separates agents who stay in the business from agents who burn out. All right, so let's get into it. Before we dive into the content, let me take about 60 seconds to reintroduce myself because some of you may know me and some of you may not. And I look forward to meeting and seeing you guys in Hawaii at our 10th convention. Super excited to go back to where it all started. I've been with this company since December 2015. It's been 10 years. And in that time, I was the first platinum consultant outside of the Elite Eight. For those who don't know what the Elite Eight is or who the Elite Eight are, they're the original leadership team that built Evolution Travel from the ground up. I was the first agent outside of that group to hit platinum status. I was also the first agent outside of the Elite Eight to earn both my 100K ring and the 250K ring. So if you're wondering if this is something that you can do and have longevity with, I am proof positive that you absolutely can. You just have to take it seriously. If you treat it like a business, it will pay you like a business. I've also been honored as a top travel commission earner at our national convention 6 times. So I'm telling you all of this for a reason. Most of the trainings you see come up from current top 20 earners list. Right now, I'm not on that list, but I have been here since day one. I built this business through every phase of the company, and I have been on that top 20 list for about 5 or 6 years straight. Took a little bit of time off so that I can start a different part of my life. But I want you guys to know that this business sustained us through COVID. So you guys can make it last and you can make it work. You just have to stick with it. Okay. So I'm about to teach you these strategies in part 3, which are some of the strategies that myself and my team have used over these years to help us reach the heights that we've reached. Okay. So take a moment and read through these objectives. You can take a picture or a screenshot. Notice that the first 2 are about mindset and protection, meaning how you think about and how you handle the moments when the sale does not go smoothly. Most training stops at the good news. Here is how to get a client. Here is how to make a booking. Here is how much you'll earn. Part 3 is about what happens in the in-between. In between the objections, the silences, the clients who totally disappear, and the conversations that feel like dead ends. Objectives 3 through 5 are about systems, the retainer, the proposal process, the strategic presentation of your quote. These are tools that professional agents use to protect their time, communicate their value, and create a better client experience simultaneously. By the time you finish this training, you should feel equipped to respond when something does not go your way or does not go as you expected. Because in this business, things will not always go the way that you think that they will go. That is definitely not a sign to quit. It's a sign to pivot. It's also a sign to use your tools. Overcoming the no. Let me set the frame for this slide before you walk through the specific responses. An objection is not a rejection. Read that again. An objection is not a rejection. When the client says that's too expensive or I need to think about it, they are not saying that they do not want to travel. They're not saying that they don't want to book with you. They are saying that they have a concern that has not been addressed yet. Your job is to identify and address the concern, not to give up on the conversation. Walk through each objection and response. I want you guys to take a picture of this because when they come up later, I want this part not to cause you to fall apart. If a client says, or a potential client says, that's too expensive, your response could be something like, I completely understand, budget is everything. Can I ask what range makes you feel more comfortable? I have options at multiple price points, and I want to find something that actually works for you. This is why we work up more than one quote. We search in more than one place. So I don't want you guys to get stuck on the infamous, who is the best vendor for such and such? There is no best vendor. It's the vendor that best suits your client, and you will only know that by qualifying them. I think we went over that in part 2, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure that you review part 1 and part 2. All right. If you get a potential client that says, I need to talk to my spouse first. My husband is notorious for throwing me under the bus. Instead of him saying no, he will say, hey, I got to talk to my wife. I got to talk to my wife. That is okay. That's not a no. Your response, instead of panicking, can be, of course, this is a big decision. Would it help if I put together a quick summary that you could share with them? That way they have all of the details in front of them when you two sit down. Do not trust one spouse to communicate to the other spouse everything that you have said. How many of you guys have played a game of telephone? We used to do that in high school. where you tell one person at the front a secret and everybody whispers it in the ear of the person behind them or right next to them. And by the time that secret gets to the back of the room, it is totally messed up. Do not wait or trust your client to communicate your information to someone else. You don't want it to get lost in translation. Okay. What if you get somebody who says, I'm just looking right now. I'm just looking. Don't panic. How many times have you gone to the mall and said, I'm just looking, I'm not buying anything today? And you come out with 2 Sephora bags, an Ulta bag, a Lululemon bag, and some cookies or Cinnabon. How many times have that happened to you? Oh, just me? It's only happened to me. Right? So people do that often. They will say, I'm just looking. They're looking until they see something that is attractive to them. Okay. So your response, instead of shutting down and having an emotional breakdown, pivot to, hey, that's totally fine. My job is to make sure that when you are ready, you have someone who already knows exactly what you're looking for. Can I keep your preferences on file? And then do so. Add those people who have gotten a quote with you, that you have all of their information, put them in a database and send out a newsletter once a month. There are so many platforms that will put together the newsletter for you. You just drop in some of the information and they literally will put it together for you. Canva has templates already. There are AI platforms that will put together your newsletter for you and send it out to these clients once a month just to keep yourself fresh on their minds. You can use platforms like Constant Contact. I know that my goal consultant, Miss T, she's the one that put me on with Constant Contact. Like, she has been a pro with it literally from day one. And that is how she stays in contact with her agents as well as her clients. Work smarter, not harder, right, y'all? I think I can find it cheaper online. How many times have you guys heard that from potential clients? How many times? A lot, all right? So here's your response. Well, you might, but here's what I offer that a booking engine doesn't. Someone who answers your calls, who advocates for you if something goes wrong, and handles everything from deposit to check-in. The price is usually the same. If not, I can most likely price match. The experience isn't the same. Remember, you guys are not the cheap trip bookers. You guys sell an experience. Anybody can go online and book a trip themselves. Anybody can do that. That is not what they need us for. We are not data entry clerks. You are literally selling an experience. You are the only you. Even if you have a twin, you're still the only you. Nobody can do this like you can. Remember that and carry yourself like that, like you know what you have is of value, because it is. The ghost problem. How many of you guys have been ghosted? A lot. A lot, huh? It is hard to not take this personally. It really is hard, because no matter how you try to stay emotionally disconnected from it, it still hurts your feelings, or it will downright piss you off, because your time is the one commodity that you can't get back. You have sat somewhere for 2 hours researching and building and sending a detailed quote. They opened it and never responded. It makes you want to kick somebody's door in, doesn't it? I want you to feel seen right now, because if you've been in this business for more than a week, this has probably happened to you already. You got an inquiry, you got excited, you spent time, real time, researching sailings, comparing room categories, putting together pricing, putting together a quote. You send it and they don't even open it, or they tell you, oh, I didn't get the email. And you know doggone well they got it because it didn't bounce back. How many times has that happened to you? It's happened to all of us. whether we just got started or whether we've been in this business 10 years, and it still happens. Or even worse, they took the information that you gave them, and then about 2 or 3 months later, you see pictures of them online on that vacation that they asked you about. Has that ever happened to you? It has caused me to unfriend some people. It has caused me to stop speaking to some people. Has that happened to you? That is one of the most demoralizing things that can happen to an agent, especially a new agent. It can make you want to quit. It is preventable though. Okay, it is preventable. So let me walk you through why this happens. The first reason is probably going to be the most painful one. So go ahead and type ouch in the chat box now. Go ahead and type ouch. I want everybody to participate. Go ahead, let's get the ouch out of the way because this one is going to be painful. Ouch, ouch, ouch. All right. The quote was generic. You typed it up in the system, the vendor, and you sent it from the vendor directly to the new client. You guys do that? I used to. I was so excited about getting the quote out, I didn't even think about personalizing it. If someone can take your quote, open a browser, and type in the same cruise ship and the dates and find that exact price, you did not add anything that could cause them to not be able to do that themselves. We're going to get you out of that trick bag today, okay? The second reason is that there was no financial skin in the game. How likely is it for you to miss an event if you have paid for the ticket in advance? I'm one of those people that likes to be at home now, and I think it's an age thing. Rashana can tell you, and Miss T can tell you that I was notorious for being outside. Outside. If there was an event, Nina was going to be there. But now that I am almost 55, it's almost tourist season, Rashana, almost tourist season. I like staying at home a whole lot more. So what I try to do to trick myself into going to places is I prepay for the ticket. If I have spent money, I don't want to waste my money, so I'm going, right? It is the same thing when it comes to quotes. When a client has paid nothing, they have nothing to lose if they walk away. A consultation retainer or a researching fee changes that dynamic entirely. Ms. T swears by retainer fees. And this is what has sustained us for 10 years. Have them to put some skin in the game. The third reason is passive follow-up. So many agents have mentioned, well, I don't want to bug them, or I don't want to seem like I'm pestering them or like I'm begging them. A closed mouth does not get fed. If you don't ask the question, how can you get the answer? One message is not a follow-up. That's giving up too early. We're going to talk about what a real follow-up looks like, okay? The fourth reason, this one is a little subtle, but it's still important. Your quote gave them everything they needed to replicate it, everything, so that they could take your quote and go right to the internet and duplicate it. We're going to talk about what to do strategically and what to leave out of a quote without compromising its quality. Every item on the right side of this, we are going to cover in the next few slides, okay? So by the end of this training, you're going to have a system that makes ghosting you less common and less likely to happen to you. Okay, y'all ready? I want to address the hesitation that has probably come up for some of you right now, which is, but won't that scare the people away? Yes, it'll scare the people away who are never going to book, and we want them gone. That's the entire point. That's the entire point. Think about what happens when you spend 2 hours building a custom quote for someone, because researching is time consuming. You spent that time for someone who was never serious. You can't get mad at them. You have to get mad at you, because there's something up front that you can do to prevent this from happening. So anything that happened prior to today, we're going to chalk that up to the game. But if this happens to you after today, then that's on you, right? When you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? So someone who is genuinely ready to plan a trip will not trip at how small or how big a research fee is. If they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Someone who is window shopping will tell you they want to look around first. And now you know exactly what you're dealing with before you have invested your time. Here's how to think about the amount. For individual bookings like a couple, a family, or a solo traveler, a retainer fee should be about $25 to $50. Make sure that you don't fee your way out of a booking. That's reasonable and it's professional. For complex itineraries like a custom multi-destination trip or even a Disney vacation and they're going to multiple parks and a resort stay, or even a honeymoon package. How about a destination wedding? That's going to require significant research. So $50 to $100 is appropriate. For group bookings of 10 or more travelers that are going to be going, a retainer fee of $100 or $150 or even higher is fair given the scope of work involved. Now, once you have become savvy in this space, I would go as far as to say, charge your retainer per person, especially if it's a group, because you're going to have to deal with each one of those people. Your time is valuable. You want to make sure that you get paid for your time. Now, here's the most important part. In a lot of cases, you should apply the retainer as a credit toward the booking. I would say that's when you first get started. Okay. This is how you can slide that retainer in and it doesn't feel as painful as you think it's going to be. Here's how you introduce it. The $50 retainer comes off the top of my service fee when you book. This removes the feeling that they're paying extra, because they're not. They simply are making a small deposit on your time up front instead of after when you've already done the work. Okay. There are scripts that we're going to go over so you guys can be able to know how to communicate that. Okay. Now, I am all for charging a non-refundable retainer as well. These are only suggestions. You do what works for you. My retainer, after 10 years in this business, is non-refundable, and they pay it up front before I look for anything. I have a lot of other things that I'm doing with my time. I don't have 15 minutes to waste. Okay. But again, make sure that you don't quote unquote fee your way out of a booking. Okay. These are realistic starting points, not rigid rules. As you build your experience and confidence in the market, your rates may shift, and that's okay. But these ranges reflect what established agents are charging and what the market will bear for each level of service. All right. That first tier one, the $25 to $50 range, that's where most new agents should start. It's a low barrier for clients and a meaningful signal of intent. They pay that $25 or they pay that $50 for your research, it tells you something important about just how serious they are. Okay, take a look at tier two. This is for family or complex itineraries. These should always command more because the scope of work is genuinely more significant. It's going to be more time consuming. A Disney vacation alone can involve choosing the right resort, understanding the dining plan options, booking fast passes, coordinating park days. accounting for multiple people and different preferences. This is not a 30-minute quote. It is not. So make sure that you price accordingly. Tier 3, this is for groups. Let's say your group cruises, girls trips, family reunions, destination weddings, or actually destination weddings is going to be tier 4, but your group trips. Group bookings are the highest earning opportunity in this business, but they also require the most coordination, lots of moving parts, right? So group block management, communicating with 10 or more travelers who all have questions. Then you have to track the deposits and the due dates and the payments. This is real work. So make sure you're not undervaluing your time and the effort that you're going to put in. Tier 4 is luxury travel, destination weddings, and honeymoons. These clients have the highest expectations and the highest budgets more often than not. They are not so price sensitive in the same way as the other 3 tiers. What they care about most is precision, responsiveness, and professional experience. They want you to take the heavy lifting off of them. Price at the level that communicates that you are a professional. One of the most important things is to always communicate that the retainer either applies toward the booking or that it doesn't. That framing makes all the difference. If you're going to make it a part of their deposit, you tell them that it comes off your booking. That feels like you guys are doing this together. I charge a fee feels transactional, like they're in the store. Okay, this is the same structure. It just has a different tone. You guys follow? All right, let's talk about a raw quote. Rest in peace, Queen Raw. Personalized proposal. Make sure that you take a screenshot or a picture of this. Sending the vendor's printout is the fastest way that you can become replaceable. A personalized proposal is your signature. It represents your brand. What I'm about to share with you separates the agents who get ghosted from the agents who get bookings, and it's simpler than you think. When you pull a quote from Royal Caribbean or Sandals and forward it to the client as is, here is what the client actually receives. A document that looks like what they would see if they went to the website themselves. So why would they need you? It has the vendor's branding. It has the booking class codes. It has the rate identifiers. It has everything that they need to go and replicate that booking without you. And some of them will. And guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing but be upset. A personalized proposal is completely different. It starts with the client's name. It references their specific situation, such as, congratulations on your upcoming 10th anniversary, Keisha and Marcus. Here's what I put together for you. Which one would you like to see? Think about your own experience. Which one makes you feel better? The email that is general and says, hi, client, or the email that says, hey, Michael. Which one makes you feel better? This describes the experience narrative in the language rather than code language. And it ends with a specific call to action that directs them back to you after the booking. The difference in the conversion rate between raw vendor quotes and personalized proposals is very significant. Clients who receive personalized proposals, they feel seen. They feel like you built something specifically for them because you did. That emotional experience is what creates loyalty, referrals, and repeat bookings. Now, on this slide, we're going to talk about how to build a proposal, what to leave off, and what to include. Take a picture or a screenshot. You guys need this information. Print it out, put it by your workstation. This is how you're going to save yourself time, okay? This slide is going to feel a little counterintuitive because first, as agents, we are trained to be helpful and thorough, right? To give the client as much information as they need. But there's a difference between being thorough and making it easy for someone to steal from you because this is your work product or to replace you. So let me be clear about what this slide is not saying. This is not about withholding information in a way that misleads or deceives your client. That's not what we're talking about. Your client should receive everything they need to feel confident that you know what you're doing and that this trip is real, it's not a scam, and it's bookable. What they do not need is a set of identifiers that will allow them to walk over to Google and replicate this booking without you in the picture, like flight numbers. If you are including flight in your proposal, whether it's bundled in a package or added separately, sure, share the airline, share the departure and arrival times, and whether it's a nonstop or has a connection. That's all information that the client needs to know to evaluate that option. The specific flight number is your research tool. That's not a part of the deliverable, okay? Room and cabin identifiers. This is a big one for cruises. When you pull a specific cabin from Cruising Power or Royal Caribbean or Carnival Cruise Line or Princess, you're looking at a cabin number on a deck. You do not need to share that cabin number with the client. Sure, share the categories such as balcony, midship, deck 6 to deck 8 in that range. They have all of the information that they need. The specific number is what they would use to call Royal Caribbean and try to take over that reservation. Rate codes. Never put the rate code in a client-facing document. That means something that you're going to give to the client. Just show the final price. The rate code is internal. That's our work product. This is not a part of the client experience. Sometimes you can give the client too much information. How many of you guys have included the breakdown of a bundled trip and have had clients to call you back to say, well, what about if we take this off of this? Would that change the price? Has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me. This is how you move around that. Booking links. Any link in your proposal should go back to your booking portal or your personal travel website, not directly to the vendor's consumer site. So make sure that you remove all live links in your proposals or in your quotes that do not lead all roads back to you. Okay? That is one of the most important things to get right away. A vendor link with no agent coded into it is the same as sending your client directly to the store and telling them to skip the cash register. You don't want to do the work and give your money away. Again, this is not deception. This is professionalism. Attorneys do not give their clients their research notes, even when their case is over. Architects do not hand over design files. You present the output. The work product is yours. All right, so here is everything from the last few slides. All of this is your practical system. You already did the hard work. You qualified the client using the form method. We went over that in the last training, so make sure you go over part 2. You spent the time in the vendor portals researching options. You know what you want to recommend. The problem most of us agents have is that we do not know how to turn researching something that looks and feels polished without spending another hour or 2 in writing. We're going to go over that, okay? But I want you guys to make sure that you take a picture of this. So you're going to gather your research, pull the pricing, room, cabin, category, dates, inclusions, any applicable promotions from the vendor portal. Oh, and that's something else. Do not put your promotions inside your quotes. the client can go and ask for that promotion themselves. Don't give away the keys to the kingdom for free, okay? All right? And make sure that you have your form notes, FORM. That's the system we showed you guys last Saturday. Have those in front of you from the client so that you can do the next steps that we're talking about. So this is where AI comes in. Tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or similar AI assistants, they can take the raw details from a trip and transform it into a warm, personalized, client-ready document in literal minutes. The key is how you prompt it, okay? Again, step one, make sure that you have all of the research in front of you. Step two is writing a clear prompt. Do not just dump the information in. Tell AI who the client is, what the occasion is, what their preferences are, and what you want the document to look like. It will brand it for you. The more context you give it, the more personalized the output will be. Step three, this is the most critical. Be intentional about what you include in your prompt. You are feeding the AI the details that you want in the proposal. That means category descriptions, not cabin numbers, remember? Airline and time, but not the flight numbers. Final pricing, not rate codes, not the discount codes, not your promos. If you put a specific cabin number in your prompt and AI puts it in the proposal, that is your mistake, not AI's. So be careful what you tell it to do. Step four, read it, read it, read it, read it, read it. Don't just trust that AI is going to make it perfect. Okay, it's not human. If we make mistakes and we make AI, AI is going to make mistakes too. Okay, so read it. Make sure that you read every detail of it. Make it yours and then send it. Add one detail that the AI could not have known. Something from the client. I know I mentioned your daughter has, I know you mentioned that your daughter has never seen the ocean. Here's what I think she's going to love about this trip. One human touch is what makes the difference between a document and a relationship. Did you guys take a picture of this one? All right, so here's a sample AI prompt. Take a picture or a screenshot. What to say and how to say it. This slide is a tool, not just a concept. Again, I want you guys to take a photo of this slide or copy this prompt into your notes right now, because you should be using a version of this within this next week. Okay? This opening introduction tells the AI what kind of document you want. Do you want it warm, professional, personalized, and what not to include? The do not include instruction is critical. If you do not tell AI to leave out the room numbers and the flight numbers, it may include them based on the information that you provide. You have to set that boundary in the prompt before AI ever starts writing. So in your sample, you can say something like, I'm a travel agent building a personalized proposal for a client. You can mention the client name there, or you can wait until the next part of the prompt. Please write a warm professional travel proposal using the details below. Begin with a personal greeting using the client's name and reference. Make sure that you reference their occasion. So if it's a wedding, if it's an anniversary, a birthday trip, make sure you mention what it is, okay? Describe each option in inviting, it's experimental language. Do not include room numbers, flight numbers, rate codes, or any booking identifiers. Make sure you spell that out. End with a clear call to action directing them to contact me to secure their trip. You put the client's name there, whatever their occasion is. Is it an anniversary, a honeymoon, a family vacation, a birthday trip, etc. Give their travel dates, the number of travelers, how many adults, how many children, and the children's ages. Tell what the budget range is and the preferences noted. Beach over ship, all-inclusive preferred, needs accessible room for your handicapped clients, etc. Option 1, option 2. Always give your clients more than one option. Do not overload them with options. Give them 1 or 2. My contact information, make sure that you give your contact information. And if you have a logo, include your logo, your business phone number, your business email. Make sure that you're not using hot and pretty tempted 89 at yahoo.com. Make sure that you have a business email, okay? You also want to separate your business phone number from your personal number, okay? Google Voice is free. My contact information, you put all of that information there, and please apply the blank retainer, consultation retainer, as a credit toward their booking, or put the language in that you need. If it's going to be non-refundable, make sure that you put that language in, okay? For now, you can save this, tweak it as you need to. All right, can we move on? You guys got a picture? Okay. All right, now let's check. Let's see who's paying attention. A client received your quote on Monday. It is now Friday with no response and no bookings. What should you do? Should you assume that they are not interested and move on to new clients? Should you send a follow-up message checking in and adding value by sharing a promotion, a review, or a deadline reminder? Should you send the quote again with the lower price and try to win them back? Or should you call the vendor directly and see if the client booked without you? Which one should you do? Which one is the right one? B. Send a follow-up message checking in and adding value by sharing a promotion, a review, or a deadline reminder. Look at you. You guys are pros already. All right. So let's talk about why the other ones are wrong. Okay. So you're not guessing. Giving up after 4 days of silence is exactly the passive follow-up habit that leads to lost bookings. Industry data consistently shows that a significant percentage of conversions happen after the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th point of contact. 1 message is not follow-up. 2 messages is not bugging them. 1 message is the opening move. That's all. You definitely follow through and follow up. C is wrong because lowering the price without asking or without being asked is a fast track to devaluing your clients. Have you ever been in a store looking at something that's expensive and the salesperson either doesn't say anything to you at all because they're assuming that because you're there in your sweats and your tennis shoes and your hat turned backwards, that you're window shopping and you can't afford it? Has that ever happened to you before? It's happened to me plenty of times. Plenty of times. Right? You don't want to devalue your clients. I will take my happy self out of the store and go to a whole nother store on the other side of town to buy the same thing if I feel devalued. You don't want your clients to feel like that, right? The client has not said that price was an issue. They just might be busy. Life might be lifing. They might be waiting for payday. They might be talking it over with their spouse. Dropping price immediately signals desperation, not professionalism. So hold your value. Okay, D is incorrect because calling the vendor is not appropriate. And it would not give you the information that you're looking for in any case. Your relationship is with your client, not with the vendor. Okay? B is correct because follow-up with added value is how you demonstrate continued investment in the client's experience. The following message does not have to say, "Are you ready to book?" That can feel kind of pushy. A better version could sound like, "Hey, Tamika, I just wanted to check in and share something that I thought you want to know. Disney is offering 2 for 1, and they just released that today, and they have released some other sales that expire on Friday. I wanted to make sure that you had this information before it went away." That's the value right there. That's how you follow up. That is what keeps the conversation open. You are giving them more value. You're giving them more reason to book with you. Set a follow-up schedule on every quote. Day 4, day 8, and day 14 is an example. After that, move them to your warm list. Never ever assume that silence is a no. That is where most of us go wrong. This is it. This is the end of the Part 3 series, and I want to take a moment and acknowledge something. Most training programs never have this conversation. They teach you how to set up your back office, register with suppliers, then they send you out into the world and wonder why our agents quit in the first 90 days. You now know what most agents figure out the hard way. You are usually giving away dozens of free quotes that never converted. The retainer is not an option once you start taking your business seriously. Your time has value. Your expertise has value, even if you're new. The qualification conversion, the research, the proposal, none of that is free labor. You're not supposed to work for free. It's a professional service. When you charge for it, even if it's a small amount, you immediately shift the client relationship. You are no longer a search agent. You're an advisor. You're a consultant. You're a professional. The personalized proposal is not an option either. A raw vendor printout is a commodity. It's work product. A personalized proposal is your brand. It does the talking for you. Every time a client opens up a document with their name on it that references their occasion, it describes their trip in language that makes them feel something. This is an experience your competitors are not delivering. The AI workflow makes it sustainable, meaning that you can do many of these in one day. You can build a beautiful proposal in 15 minutes. That is the competitive advantage available to you right now. Go back through the trainings. Go make sure that you go back through part 1 and part 2. Set your retainer. Save the prompt, print it out, put it somewhere near your workstation. Review your last quotes and send one follow-up. Do that today. While this is fresh in your mind, do it today. You have the system, you have the tools, and now you have the community behind you. Now let's go build this business. All right. So what I'd like to do is open this up for questions and answers, because I know that that was a lot of information. I know it was. I'm going to invite my hostess with the mostest back. Ask her to drop that link in the chat again, because we want to make sure that we have each and every one of you recorded that you were here today. And we want to get your questions answered. All right, so it's a lot of you guys here today. What we can invite you to do is to raise your hand, and we will go agent by agent. That way you guys don't run the risk of talking over each other. How about that? All right, hostess.
All right. Looks like Sarah has a question. Sarah, I went ahead and asked you to unmute.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, hi. I wanted to ask, I had actually just started with charging a research and booking fee,
Mhm,
and I decided to do it to where I'm charging the fee and then applying it to the bookings. But
mhm.
how do you, or is there any system that you suggest how to collect the fees?
Yes, so I did that for maybe like the first 2 years. And what I would do is collect it on a prepaid system like Cash App, and then I would pay the deposit from my card to the vendor.
Okay, perfect. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
no problem.
Thank you. And thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much for all the helpful information.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, who we got next, hostess?
All right, Rashana.
Hey Nina.
Hey, my baby.
Hey, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, but I do
Absolutely.
because I like learning from the pioneers, honey.
Hey.
Okay, so just trying to perfect my craft here. I send
Gotcha.
quotes all the time, but I need to start getting more professional on the back end, sending the quotes, and I'll send the vendor
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
copy and paste or whatever. So with that being said, I definitely don't reveal all the info, the
Mm-hmm.
specific details. Do you do that? Like, okay, because I get them on the phone and I'm having them pay for it right then and there once
Mm-hmm.
everything is confirmed. So after that, do you give all the details or how do you typically do that?
Once they have deposited, then yes. Once they have deposited, then yes, I send them it. I still don't send them the FunJet or the Expedia tab, or I still don't send that information out. But I do still create it in AI. But that is when I include the flight numbers, the connection city, the cabin number, the floor where they are, all of the pertinent details, all of that. But after they deposit.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. And congratulations on that baby again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, it looks like that one was answered. Kat says, for specific hotels, what hotel info do you give your clients? Link to an official hotel site?
Definitely not. I will give them the name. So let's say it is a um, Marriott Renaissance. I will mention that it is a Marriott. If it is the specifics of it, if it's on a high floor, I'll leave that information out. Um, I am not giving the detail. I give them the bare bones of it. It's a Marriott. It is in downtown Atlanta. It is the standard room. That is it. And I give them the price.
All right. Then we
Mhm.
have a question down here that says, I thought we were not supposed to pay for anything on our credit cards for our client.
You are not supposed to filter the client's money through your bank account. You are allowed to make the deposit for your client in that way. So if we're talking about they give you $100 for your research fee and you tell them, hey, I'm going to apply this to your deposit, yes, you can do that.
Okay.
You can absolutely do that, but you cannot filter the client's money, taking money from them through your PayPal and then paying for their trip. You cannot do that.
And let's see. It says that's why I was confused at collecting the research fee on Cash App. But how do you apply it without paying from your card?
Yep, you can pay it from your card. It would be the same thing as if you were giving your client a gift, which is what I've done before. I have paid the final payment on clients that have booked their destination weddings for me, and my commission is $3,500, $4,500. I'll make the last payment for them as my gift to them. And I use my card to do that. As long as the client is not filtering their money through your account, they're making payments to you for their trip. That is what you cannot do.
Okay. And then it says you could always refund it once they pay the deposit. Yes.
You can do that too. That's an option as well.
Okay.
Again, this is not etched in stone. We're just giving you the tips and tricks that we have developed over these past 10 years. You make your business work for you. We're all independent contractors. You tweak it until it works for you. This is not a one size fits all type deal.
All right. Any other questions?
Now, I stay away from the refunding part because if you are using any other system besides Cash App, you'll lose some money in transit, and I don't want to do that.
And not only that, it may take a few days for them
Absolutely.
to actually receive the refund.
Right. It might take a few days.
Okay. Can you repeat that again? I don't understand about using our credit cards.
You want to take that, Jess?
Do what?
You want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I can reach out to.
No, I'm saying, did you want to answer that? That's my daughter's reminder for her meds.
Yeah, so Nina is just saying that we can use to make like a deposit. If they send us, say, $100, we could use our Cash App card to make the deposit. Just think of it as like it's a gift to your client. But you cannot use, like, they cannot pay the whole trip like through you, like through your card. Am I saying that right?
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
You cannot accept payments for your client's vacations. You can't do that.
So, and the reason I'm assuming for that is, like, I know in our area, within like this last year, we had somebody that was collecting money and never actually booking the vacations. And yeah, it was a huge ordeal here in our area.
You can be prosecuted for theft, for felony theft. There were instances when we first got started where we've had agents accepting cruise deposits, monthly cruise payments, and not paying the cruise line. There was one agent that I knew personally that was suspended from the company, and Ron Archer decided not to prosecute her criminally, and he could have. Because she genuinely didn't know. And then that is when the rule had to be spelled out. She had all of the deposits and all of the payments sitting in one account, and her auto pay for all of her bills came out of that same account and took the cruise money.
Oh, no.
Exactly. And she was set to get paid a couple of days later. However, the cruise payments were due that day, and she could not get an extension. So she called our host agency to tell what happened, because at that time it wasn't a rule. She did not have bad intentions, but look what position it put us in, right, as a company. So it became an official rule. You cannot filter payments through your account, and you won't be covered under errors and omissions and fraud coverage if you do that. So make sure you are not filtering payments, okay? That deposit, that's something a little different. It's like a gift, okay? You're giving them something back. What's the correct way to administer payments? Like what Rashonda said, you get the client on the phone after you have them to complete the credit card authorization form, and you take the information from them and you input it from your fingers into the system. They do not pass money from them to you and then to the vendor. Their credit card information goes directly into the vendor system. And we can do another training to actually show you what bookings look like when it comes to that. We can do that.
Yeah, I think that would be a great training to do.
Absolutely.
So I do have a question. So with credit card authorization forms, so say Carnival, when you can send that payment link, do we still have to collect the credit card authorization form, even though we're not seeing the card or anything?
Yes. And with the credit card authorization form, you're only collecting the last 4 digits of the card anyway. But there have been instances, and there's been an uptick of these instances of people booking these vacations, going on the vacation, and on the way back from the vacation, they contact their credit card company and charge it off as fraud. Hey, someone used my card, and it has happened more than once.
All right.
Yes, Travel Joy is fine as long as it is encrypted. Yep, as long as it's encrypted.
Let's see. Sarah says, I was told we do not as long as we don't use the card.
I would absolutely advise you to do it for the reason why I just said it. There have been clients who will charge it off. And what leg do you have to stand on? It's their word against yours, right? You have emails to show, but they can still say, I just inquired, I didn't pay. What proof do you have? You've got that credit card authorization form with the last four digits of that card. You've got their signature. Even if they use a different card to pay it, you still have their IP address on that form, and you also have their signature. CYA. No, it is not required, but I definitely encourage you to do it on your affiliate platforms too. Before you give them the link to book, yes, definitely have them to complete that credit card authorization form and be specific. You only want them to put the last four digits, not their entire card. That is to cover you and to protect you as a business owner.
Great info.
All right.
Let's see. Any more questions up here? What if it's a boutique hotel or they ask for specific hotel names? How or what do you answer them?
I will give them the box name of the hotel or the resort. Okay, let's say if we're talking Disney, there are a gazillion Westgate properties in Orlando, right? I would give them Westgate property. That's it. I would give them the Westgate name. I would tell them the side of town that it's on and the room type. I would even send them pictures. I'm not sending them a link for the hotel. Not doing that. That makes it too easy for them to go and compare the pricing. See, I'm not competing. I'm not competing with what they can find online because I provide a service that is second to none. And I stand on that. It's about your posture. Know that your time is worth it. Know that you are a professional. You're not hiding things. You're just keeping your work product. So they don't need to know Westgate property at Southgate and Disney Resort. They don't need all of that. They get the Westgate property, south side of Orlando, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo, X amount of miles from Disney, approximately. And you can make it approximate. That's it. Anything else is too much information and they can take your work product and book it themselves. This is to protect you. Okay.
All right. Our next question, I've sent my 10-leg link and my client booked directly through that link. Do we still need to send credit card authorization form? So I'm going to probably say yes to protect ourselves.
Yes, it's not required, but I do. And I keep it for 6 months after the trip has been taken.
That's good info to have. I did not know how long we needed to keep those.
6 months.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just get in the habit of just already sending the authorization form for everything, then we should never forget it.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Mike says, can someone set up another Zoom link to assist me with VAX for this Disney and Universal trip? I'm attempting to plan so I can get the memo out to the client.
Yes. If you can stay on as soon as we finish this, Mike, and we'll go through it. And anybody that wants to stick around and see it, you're welcome to. We'll just stop the recording then.
Okay. Jennifer says, do you give pictures with the quote too, or just text?
I give pictures, yes. And not of the entire resort. But yes, I do.
And Ava says, no judge court TV.
Exactly, niece.
All right. When you're doing a group cruise, does each client fill out a credit card authorization form?
Absolutely. Each client that will be making a payment. Absolutely.
All right. right. And then it looks like we have Kat wanting to ask a question.
Hi, sorry. Back to the hotel question. So this
Hey,
is my
Kat.
situation. I've spent a
Mhm.
lot of time with this client, and I never knew until now about not giving specific hotel names. So I've
Mhm.
been giving her hotel names in Italy, and then she's in it now, and she went and booked one by herself.
Oh,
So yes, it's so frustrating, you know?
it
And
is.
so now I have like two more hotels to book for her.
Mhm.
Is it too late? Can you coach me into like, how do I adjust with her where now I can't all of a sudden be like, okay, well, it's a three-star hotel in this area, but here are the pictures of the room, but I can't give you any more details because you'll go book it yourself.
It's it's how you
How
present
do
it,
you
Kat.
say it?
It's how you
Yes.
present it. It's how you present it. So what I would say, especially if this is someone who I've built a rapport with, I'd say, hey,
Yes.
hey, Trisha, I have been sending you these quotes for these bookings, and it's been my absolute pleasure. However, the last time I sent you this, you took it and you booked it for yourself. And I didn't get a commission from that. And it took me a while to get this done. Now, I'm pretty sure, sweetheart, you don't want to work and not get paid for it, right? So, in the sense of being fair to me, what I can do is give you some information about um, hotels that you've asked me about, but the actual details of the hotel, I can't give that information to you until you book. And see, that's usually what I do for the rest of my clients. And this is the reason why we do it so that I can protect my work product. I know you understand because you're in automotive industry and you can't give Ford what Chrysler is talking about, right, girl? You don't want to do that. So once you decide that you want Hotel A or Hotel B, yes, I will definitely send you all of the details. I'm sure you understand that, right? It's all in how you present it. So
Mm,
try not
okay.
to think for the client first, okay? Try not to think for the client. If you're being genuine, which you are, this is not about hurting the client. This is about protecting you, right? You have to teach people how to treat you. That's in business, that's in relationships, that's in friendships. What you allow a person to do to you, they will keep doing it, especially if they benefit from it.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to stand up for yourself. You might have to say it with a softer voice. You may have to run it through Chat GBT because I have done this a zillion times. Hey, tell me how to say this to this person so I don't cuss them out. And I'll tell Chat GBT what I want to say and it will fix it for me, right? So it's all in how you present the information. This is for you. Your time is worth something. That was not fair for them to take that information that you worked on and go and just capitalize on it. Now they got a vacation that you're not getting paid for. That's not okay. It's
I
not
know
okay.
it happened already. And I told her multiple times, I said, I only earn commission off of the vendors. So if you go off and you book it on your own, then I'm not going to make commission on it. And she did it anyways.
See?
So
So now she has communicated who she is, right? So now on
yeah.
this end, you have to protect yourself. That's it. And if you're worried about how it will come across, because
Hmm.
sometimes my tone when I'm texting and when I am replying online, sometimes my tone tends to be flat. I will have a phone conversation or get on a Zoom so people can hear me. Once they hear me speak, then they know my tone and they can hear my voice in their head. Maybe if you feel uncomfortable having the live conversation, send an email. Period. Send an email. Whichever form of communication feels more comfortable for you, that is how you communicate. But by all means, you protect yourself and your time. You deserve to be protected.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard it. Because a lot of the other trainings, they tell you, oh, go to VAC, and then you can just send the proposal from VAC, and it tells you the names of the hotels. So it makes so much sense. Thank you.
When we're new, because we've all done it, we've done that. We didn't have a travel cafe in 2015 or 2016 or even 2017. We didn't have a travel cafe. We created it. Okay. So we would send the quotes directly from the vendors' websites because it was easier. That's the only thing we had. We didn't have access to AI then, just like we didn't have access to computers in the 80s and the 90s. So every time something evolves, we evolve with it. Okay. You are branding yourself. You are presenting yourself like you're the professional because you absolutely are. So take the time and put a little razzle dazzle on it. It will pay you on the back end. 10 years later, I still have the same clients. 10 years later, evolve with the time and protect yourself by all means. Okay, Jess, what else we got?
Let's see. It looks like that might have been answered. What app do you use with the credit card authorization form? Because whenever I send it to my client, they either can't do e-signature, they have to print it out and send me a picture.
Acrobat.
Okay.
Acrobat. You can also use JotForm. You can use Google Forms. And let me give you another cheat code. If I don't know how to work a certain platform, I'll go right into ChatGPT or Claude, and I will tell it to give me a bullet point cheat sheet to tell me how to use this platform. And it'll tell you how to use it step by step. I am a fan of AI.
All right. I think everything else has pretty well been answered. Does anybody else have any questions?
I
Just
do
make sure
real
that you
quick.
get.
One more. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Oh, hi, sweetheart.
I have one more question. I got one
Go
more.
ahead.
Can we kill this rhetoric argument, whatever it is that you want to call it, um, Nina? Because you've been
Uh-oh.
around. I'm a year behind you. You've been around for 10. So can you give can we kill this myth real quick? Because I'm pretty sure everybody else wants to know. The myth is you
Mhm.
can't, when you have a credit card authorization form, clients cannot do an e-signature. They can only do a print and sign because it will stand up in court quicker than an e-signature will. So can you kill this for us? Because I know I'm not the only one that have heard it.
Okay, times have evolved. In the beginning, when we got started, it had to be a wet signature. It had to be. However, with the evolution, pun intended, of computers and AI and different systems, emails can be tracked to IP addresses. That will stand up in court. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wet signature, but it does have to be generated by their computer and sent from them to you so that it can be tracked. IP address, is it the exact same as their signature now?
That was a
Thank
great question.
That was an amazing question.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to drop this Google form link one more time. Make sure if you haven't filled it out, get that filled out so we can count you for today.
And to fully qualify, you've got to be on Wednesday's training. So for the walkthrough on Wednesday, April 22nd, which happens to be my birthday, we will have Vacations Express. Now, for those of you who have been thinking about fam trips and taking advantage of agent pricing and lower deposits, this is going to be the training that you want to get on. It's going to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have these trainings every single Wednesday. We have had them for, this is the 8th year, I believe. We've been doing Walkthrough Wednesday. Part 1 and 2 was recorded. Once I get done going over the Disney trip with Mike, I will be uploading it to the YouTube channel. Can I get somebody to drop? I think Ava did. Niece, did you put that in the chat? I think Ava did. So I have like 5 videos to upload today that will be what I do before I shut it down for the day, I promise you I will get them up there today. I've spent the last week helping my husband get ready for his trip to Germany. He is gone to serve our country. So for those of you who pray, make sure that you pray him home safely. All right. So walkthrough Wednesday on April 22nd. Make sure that you look out for that flyer and come on back so that you can qualify for these amazing gifts from our hostess with the mostest. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, I will let our hostess close this one out, but you guys make sure that you stay on so you can see the live demo for this Disney vacation. All right, Jess?
All right, guys. Well, that was a wonderful presentation, Nina, and we appreciate you taking the time. So if we don't have any more questions, then let's go ahead and close our Saturday out and give Mrs. Nina Jackson Mitchell a round of applause. So thank you for tuning in. And on behalf of our 1-star platinum Mrs. Nina Jackson Mitchell, this Zoom is officially over.